Welcome back to another episode of Are You Not Entertained podcast. This is episode 29, and let's just get straight into it because it's been a lot of activity in the gaming space. First up, Metro is back, and nobody saw this coming. Out of nowhere, Metro 2039 just got revealed, and this might be one of the biggest single player comebacks we've seen in years. No long marketing build up, no massive leaks months ahead, just boom, full reveal. And now the big question is this the game that finally proves AAA story driven shooters aren't dead? Because let's be real, the live service market has been dominating gaming lately. So if Metro actually delivers, this could shift the entire conversation in gaming. But here's the thing, not everybody is convinced yet. So what did they actually show, and does this live up to the hype? All right, so let me just run down the quick rundown from everything that the trailer kind of told us. This is the fourth mainline entries in the franchise, set 6 years after the original game. Underground metro tunnels, Moscow underground stations have united under the Nova Reach, an authoritarian regime led by the new Führer, the legendary Spartan Hunter. Players control the Stranger, a fully voiced man suffering from violent nightmares who was forced to return to the Metro to face his past. Co-written by Excel author Dmitry Glukowski. Sorry that I probably butchered your name, sir. And then and developed in Ukraine. The game's story reflects the developer's uniquely Ukrainian perspective, focusing heavily on the consequences of war, tyranny, and the price of freedom. Gameplay, psychological horror, tense atmosphere, environmental storytelling where players can piece together dark past events through level design. The tech, built on 4A's custom game engine, featuring an upgraded performance-focused implementation of ray tracing to deliver stunning visuals on your equipment. And this is coming out this winter. So let me just say, the game looks gorgeous. As you can see, the trailer's playing now in the background with no sound because we can't be, we're a small channel. We can't afford to get copyrighted. Like you see in the trailer, the game is freaking gorgeous. And I even talked to my cousin. I was like, I gotta stop giving games a plus couple points or higher level, because every game nowadays it just looks gorgeous, and especially if they are from their own custom engine. Oh, baby, it's like an automatic gorgeous game. But yeah, the game is gorgeous. It's very, very, you can tell in the screen, it's very horror based. It has a lot of children aspects in the trailer, which is, a lot of people don't.
Shocking.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do that because, children, the depiction of children suffering, or, the D word. It's not well received in critics' eyes. But as you can see this man is dealing from a lot of psychological trauma. It looks like he's dealing with survival remorse or survival guilt. And let me just, I've seen that in real life, just being private service, seeing people deploy, seeing some people don't come back, and some people really do struggle with psychological effects from that. So especially from war and things like that I saw being in the service as an 88, you go out on convoys and some people don't come back. I've lost friends that's dealt with that type of psychological warfare from war and all that. So it's very much a real thing. And if you one of those people that's suffering from that, you're not alone. Reach out to, the local health facility and things like that. So I just want to point that out because I've definitely seen people in the military that deals with what it looks like this man is dealing with in this trailer. Not to get real serious, but I just wanted to say that just on the record because, being prior service, I see it a lot, and my friends still to the day deal with this. So that's very, very much a real thing. So, Miss, what do you think? Because look, good, I'm kind of interested. It's a lot of horror games slated to come out this year. And what do you think about how this game just said bam and released a trailer? It's coming out this year. What do you make of all that they've revealed in such Like, it really just caught everybody by surprise.
So I was definitely intrigued. It did catch my attention because I am a huge horror fan, whether it be
Yes.
games, movies. I love the Conjuring series. I was very happy when they brought Dead Space back, at least the remake, and then unfortunately they just stopped there. Horror, psychological horror thrillers, they are a niche genre into themselves. It did catch my attention. And like
Mhm.
you said, it was showing like, okay, narrative based shooters, especially first person shooters, can still find and do something. The amount of put into this, the detail, the creepiness with the kids, like I ain't gonna lie, I was watching it, I was like, yo, how did you all get this cleared?
Yes.
Because like my cousin was saying, quick history lesson. BioShock, the game,
Oh, yeah.
as such of a classic game it is, almost did not happen because of how the little sisters were being treated when they were AKA harvested. And even though they used harvest and not the D word, you were D word in those little girls. If you harvest them, they were gone. And they
Yeah.
were like, the ESRB was like, yo, you can't put this in the game. But they really masked it behind the mechanics and like, oh, blah, blah, blah. America really trips with the kid shit, but it caught my attention. I was very anxious. I want to see more. I would love to see where this goes. Will it be another new trilogy? But I have to also be honest for a second. A piece of me was really disappointed. And
Mm.
the reason why I say that is there was no gameplay. This is just a cinematic, and I am a huge advocate on do not get your hopes up, do not get excited for just quote unquote in-engine or cinematic trailers, because that's all what this trailer is to do, is to get you excited, drive up attention, just like how trailers of movies do. And then you go
Mhm.
and see it about the game and you're like, hey, this was nothing like that trailer 2 years ago, and even their wording of, oh, release this winter, that's very vague. Winter could be at the tail end of December or the ass early end of next year, but like I say, I'm not trying
Yeah.
to be a Debbie. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer because the studio that made this, I'm sorry, the studio that's making this has a little bit of a troubled history. The last projects that they've been working on were slowly interrupted and had some hangups, if you will, due to the Ukrainian war and everything that's going on there. Just giving a heads up, like I said, we're not a political channel. I'm just stating straight facts. So that the fact that even still had time to work on anything and get anything done and still put effort into this, it's amazing. But I am still anxious of seeing this trailer. Made me want to go back and replay the games of the
Mhm.
series, Metro, Last Light, and I think it was Exodus. I know I played the first two. I think I played those on PS3. I know I own PS4 versions, and I don't think I really did much to them. But now I'm really sitting here thinking, did I beat Exodus? That went kind of more open zone ish in a sense, and I really hope. That's one thing I will have to say for this trailer. Hopefully, they do not do that. Stick to the scope of the first two games. Any and everything does not need to be open world, not open zone, not whatever verbiage you want to use. Stick to the scope. I will say this, long and drawn out. This series, I believe, has so much potential because when it came out, even though yes, there are tons of post-apocalyptic games that gets made, around, and zombie games, etc. But to see this series is based off a book, and from the perspective of the Russian, the tunnels, and how they handled the end of the world in a sense, I enjoyed it. They didn't go typical, oh, just mutants and oh, everything's okay, but things just have an extra head now or extra foot. No, this world is really fucked up. Really fucked up. For anyone who has not played it, please do yourself a service and start with the original. It's not needed, but it does help and give so much context and lore behind the games and everything that's going on. But I am intrigued to see this, where they take the series as a whole. I am excited. The chains, the nightmarish things, the hallucinations, just
A dream
everything.
within
I'm
a
like,
dream within a dream, possibly.
yes. And then it's funny. I got to watching Inception again, and I was like, oh, yes. So I look forward to this, but at the same time, the next time, show me some gameplay.
I mean, they're gonna
Anyone can
have
make a.
to if this
Oh yeah,
actually
yeah.
comes out this year. I mean, I think they should get credit just the fact that they just came out of nowhere and said, "Boom, here you go, trailer. Hey, this is coming out at the end of this year." That's not a long time for marketing. Like normally you would get
It's
this
not.
2 years in advance, but this is coming out in possibly 6 to 8 months, whatever it is. I mean, winter is
Mhm.
very vague. Honestly,
It
though,
is.
I probably wouldn't mind if this got delayed to next year because we all know what's coming at the end of the year, GTA 6, and I would hate for this game to be dead on arrival because it launched too close to GTA. But we'll have to wait and see if it actually does come out this winter. And then what is winter? Does it have to come out before December 31st to be considered winter? Because winter technically is like January, February.
I'm a,
Like it's still
I'm
cold.
gonna I'm gonna assume and say the reason why they chose winter is because Grand Theft Auto is poised for the fall, so they're gonna say winter. And
Fall. It's coming
winter
out in
can be heard.
November.
That's still fall.
No, it's not. That shit is not. November is not fall.
November is fall, honey.
No, it's not.
Winter is December, January,
Oh
February
my
is
no,
February.
no, I'm not letting you get that off. November
Okay.
is winter.
Okay.
It's cold outside in
Okay.
November. It's not
Yes,
cold.
yes, it is.
It's not cold in Chicago in November.
It's colder than Chicago in April.
Exactly, because that's Canada. It's cold.
Hold on. For context, I just want to give this out real quick. Skynet is always listening because as we're speaking and doing this show, I typed into Google is NOV, and the first thing that popped up is November, fall, or winter. I just want to give that.
All right, everybody, comment down below if you think November is winter or not. And I would love to see what the community thinks because never in my history of a human being have we ever associated November with fall. Like,
That's you, and I have it pulled up right
no,
now. In
no.
the meteorological calendar, each season is assigned a 3-month period. Winter is December through February. Spring is
Absolutely
March
not.
through May.
Absolutely not. That don't even
Fall
make
is
sense. That
September
don't even
through
make
November.
we're not gonna get in an argument. That doesn't even make sense for 60% of this continent. Like saying
What?
November is not fucking winter. That don't even make sense. So let's be a little logical here, people. Is it cold outside in November? Yes or no? That's your answer. Depending on where you fucking live. Unless you're in
Patrice, hold on,
Arizona. If you're in
hold
Arizona, yeah,
on.
you might not think November is fucking winter
But
because it's not
hold
cold
on.
out there.
Have you not came and visited me in April and it snowed?
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
That
We have global
what we
warming.
playing.
You cannot use that as
We
a
do.
measuring stick. You cannot
We
use that
do.
as a measuring stick because
We're getting way off topic here.
and you're in Canada, so snowing there in April makes sense. Fuck.
We're getting off
Stop
topic
it.
here. We're
Yeah.
getting off
Anyway,
topic here. Hey
listen.
guys, in the comments, let us know how you all feel with the trailer. To get you excited, have you played the previous games? Let's get the conversation rolling and going, baby.
Yeah, definitely comment how you feel and what you think in the comments down below. Starfield just hit PlayStation and it's already turning into a fucking problem. We're seeing performance complaints, backlash from players, and now some fans are straight up asking for refunds. And this is supposed to be one of Xbox's biggest games finally launching on the PS5. So how did this go so wrong so quickly? Because this wasn't just a normal release. This was supposed to prove that Xbox games can thrive anywhere. Instead, it's raising a bigger question. Did Starfield just hurt Xbox's reputation on PlayStation? And is this what happens when a complete edition still doesn't meet expectations? So what's actually going on? And is this really as bad as people are saying? All right, listen. I've seen on Twitter land, people are putting up all this stuff talking about, oh, Starfield hasn't sold that well and blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, Xbox doesn't care how many numbers, quote unquote. In my opinion, they don't care because PlayStation already paid them a fee. And so whatever sales that they do on the PlayStation is just a plus. Now, I will say this further goes into my point of how Bethesda is just a shit company now and not fucking good. Because there's no way this game is so far removed from its original launch on the Xbox and PC, that for it to be borderline broken to the point where it's like unplayable. And I'm not even, I mean, maybe the word unplayable is not the best representation, but I just seen a lot of complaints online from PlayStation users. I mean, not that Xbox fans should care. Honestly, and maybe I don't have the best memory of Starfield. Maybe because it had such a negative connotation because of the story. People were disappointed. This didn't live up to what Todd Howard promoted. But I could have sworn that this didn't have the best performance on the Xbox. Now I could be wrong because some people are saying that Starfield launched on the Xbox with no issues. It didn't crash. It didn't have any problems. But I'm like, I know this was
Lies.
yeah, that's why I was
All of it.
like, I don't, you got to be careful when you're seeing Xbox Xbox fanboys, talk about their platform maker games. But I just know this did have a certain thing about it because this is less quote unquote buggy than most Bethesda launch titles. I do remember that, but that doesn't mean it was free of bugs and had no issues. But in my opinion, I'm not a Starfield fan. I don't really think that highly of the game. I understand if you liked it and you thought this was a good representation of Bethesda. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm not a fan of the product. And so but I do think maybe I just don't have a well understanding when these companies come together and they agree on bringing another company's game to their platform. But I think there should be something written of a certain level of quality that I'm paying for to bring on my platform. I would have thought that PlayStation would have had something written that forced Bethesda to not launch on their platform like this is, because this is kind of disastrous. And at the end of the day, it's just embarrassing. I don't think it's embarrassing for Xbox. I think it's more detrimental to Bethesda because Bethesda is already not in the best of lights. Like, it's already, people are pissed about Elder Scrolls. A lot of people didn't really like Starfield and thought it was mid at best. And I don't know, but I think this is more detrimental to Bethesda than it is Xbox. Xbox has been not having the best of week in news because there's a lot of stuff coming that is not really positive for Xbox. So this is just another nail in the coffin. But at the end of the day, Xbox already got paid. Whatever sales they do sell, it's a bonus. So I don't think Xbox at the end of the day cares. But I do think this is embarrassing. But what do you think, Infamous, about the launch and what people are saying and how people are requesting refunds for Starfield on the PlayStation platform?
Well, I see it as just another nail in the coffin of Bethesda, their credibility, and everything just going forward. This is just adding on more to what I was saying. Like, they're not the company that they once were. They're just not. Their vision, scope, productivity, how they handle things. It's
Quality.
Quality, everything. Like, they're in the vehicle, but they're just not paying attention. Nothing's happening. And you would have thought that the game being as old as it was, I mean, they were making the version of this game when Xbox bought them. So this should have just been a slam dunk, just to go back in, make some touch ups, and be like, all right, we got this. This is easy money. And it's like they just fumbled it. Now, I'm going to say this. I used to, for the longest, think that Bethesda had some type of grudge or whatnot with PlayStation because it was always, in bed with Xbox, because every PlayStation version of their game would just be like very, very poor performance to the Xbox. But now it's just like, yo, maybe these motherfuckers are just lazy and just let the mod community fix everything for them. But this game, the poor performance, the crashing. I can tell you right now, I played Starfield on my Series X, day one on Game Pass, and I enjoy certain aspects of it, but it's a very bare bones Bethesda quote unquote esque game. It came out and it played 30 frames per second on the Series X. It was so much so that they had to go back and change the box from it being 60 to 30. It was like, yeah, you guys got to fix that. And then now for the PlayStation, new PlayStation Pro, it still is just subpar performance. That's why I'm like, yo, whatever you all think and feel for Elder Scrolls 6, please temper your expectations or just let it go. Just let it go. It ain't happening like that. Full transparency. I was talking to my cousin here. I don't know if it was this week or last week. Like, this game was Bethesda's real last moment to show up, shut up. But ain't happened. This was supposed to be their magnum opus. This is supposed to be their creme de la creme, their own new IP in 25 years. That's all they kept touting. We made something new from the ground up. They're showing you what they can do with non-pre-established lore and mechanics set in place. This is what they're showing. They made a space game with only humans. They made a space game. They made a space game to where you don't even travel in space. The loading screen did it. They had to add that in. They made a space game to where, going on the moon and seeing nothing, that was fun. The astronauts thought that was fun. Are you serious? And these were legit quotes from them, that being in space with nothing to see and just looking at the mall of all the endlessness. That's amazing. What?
Uh,
My God, did you not play Mass Effect?
and I
Any
was
of them?
just out. I was just thinking about Andromeda. I was like, this is the same
Any
complaints
of
that we
them?
had
You
with
know,
Andromeda.
you look at Starfield and be like, No Man's Sky on day one could do better. Did do better. You look
Yes,
at
it was still
Starfield and be
shitting
like, yo,
on.
Mass Effect Andromeda don't look so bad right now, do it? With her
Mm.
that character's face hurting, because she's so tired.
Or
Like
alien
this,
species.
yeah, this was just bad. This was ridiculous. This was supposed to be their grand poopah moment, and they kind of their dress caught on their heels coming down the stairs and fell, and everyone's laughing. And now it's just like, oh well, we'll wait and see the next possibly 5 years and what Elder Scrolls 6 will be, and hopefully we're still full steam ahead rolling. This channel has grown. I want you all to come back to this moment. Yo, Infamous told you, and that game ain't gonna be what you think it is. That game will not do what you think. I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna move this train along. In 2015, two major games came out: The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4. For the first time ever, a Todd Howard game did not win Game of the Year. The Witcher 3 did. The Witcher 3 showed the cracks in the foundation of Bethesda's game design. They are continuously getting lazier and lazier as technology grows. They're implementing shit into the game people do not want, thinking like, oh, it'll keep them playing. I'm looking at you, the base building aspects, the creation club, making mods, which was a free thing, and turning it into a paid system for them to make money off of it. They are not who they were yesteryear. And I believe this game is finally showing it. Now, of course, you will have the Bethesda fanboys. You don't know. How could you say that? Starfield's amazing. Yeah, okay. Whatever makes you sleep at night. But I am very disappointed because I was looking forward to playing this on PlayStation, and now it's a infamous sale purchase. $20, maybe 17. I have many things to keep me busy. I'm very disappointed. Very. I
Yeah.
really thought they would, Todd Howard's name, reputation's sake, I really would have thought they would have pulled out all the stops and be like, hey, we're gonna show you how much better we can do if you give us the chance.
I mean,
And
No
here it is,
Man's
they've showed you.
Sky really, really tried to repair after the launch fiasco, and the game is
And they
well received
have.
now. Yeah.
Well received. And not only that, almost 10 years. This year will be the 10th anniversary of No Man's Sky. For 10 years, they've supported it, given updates, and each update has been free.
Mm-hmm.
Free charge. Has given you 2 quote unquote DLCs, charging you for them, and they are so lackluster. This is coming from the studio that motherfuckers used to be like, oh my god, the Shivering Isles in Oblivion, the Fall Harbor and Fallout 4, and Project Operation Anchorage and Fallout 3. People love. This is not them. They are not the studio you remember. They are just the fucking name. Just
Yeah.
like BioWare. They are not them
Bungie.
anymore.
Yeah.
Bungie. You have to let the mindset go. Let go of the name.
It ain't
Fuck
them.
Todd Howard. We should make that a hashtag. Fuck Todd Howard, because that is a man
He lies.
lynching to fame that he
And
earned
nostalgia.
and nostalgia, and he just does not have it anymore. He just does not have it. We've
Hell,
heard from interview time and time again. He has yes men support all around him. No one tells him no or the truth. It's like, yeah, man, if that's what Todd wants, go ahead and do it. And it is costing that company everything.
he has lied to developers and let talent walk right out the fucking door because he is a horrible manager and leader of people. Yeah, fuck Todd and everything he stands for. That's why Xbox need to fire him. How is he still employed after all the chaos and bullshit and damage, especially at the Xbox bought Bethesda? We need to do a real deep dive on that because I don't know what the hell's going on that Ty Howard is still employed. Yeah, I think Bethesda is more of a criminal of riding on their old reputation than what
Absolutely.
Nintendo does. And we give Nintendo a lot of fucking flack for being nostalgia grabbers and all they sell you is old shit again. Not that Nintendo really tried, but at the end of the day, for Starfield, that this was supposed to be the next big thing. I mean, they could have did that one thing, try, and nowhere since the launch of Starfield have I ever felt like there's a really try to improve this game. Now, Now, hey, that's just my opinion. These are just our opinions, but definitely hit the comments down below. Let us know what you think of Todd, Starfield, this whole launch disaster. Are you one of the people that bought this and demanded a refund? Let us know, and let's start the conversation down in the comments down below. All right, Xbox might have a big problem, and they're finally amending it. Game Pass, the thing that has been carrying quote unquote Xbox this entire generation, is now being called too expensive from inside Xbox itself. And now there's talk about something nobody expected, bringing exclusive back. Yeah, after years of telling us exclusives don't matter, now this? So what changed? Is Game Pass starting to break under its own model? Or is Xbox realizing they gave up their biggest advantage? Because if exclusive actually return, that completely flips the entire strategy we've been watching. So what's really going on here, and how serious is this? Now, I want to just make a note that this is like Xbox has been trying to redo their image, redo their messaging, redo the marketing of Xbox, and their biggest asset to do that is the new CEO. Like the intro said, it came out that she sent some messages to some Xbox employees saying, hey, yo, Game Pass is too expensive for what we're charging, and the value is not there. Now, the ultimate, you're supposed to get 400 plus games playable on PC, console, and cloud, 70-day plus day one games, including all Xbox published games day one, Ubisoft Plus Classics, and blah, 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 for $30 per month. One of the first things I remember people putting on Twitter after the new CEO was announced was, hey, Game Pass is too expensive. This comes off they just increased the price. They wanted her to lower the price immediately. I didn't think that was going to happen. That's, you can't skin a cat that quickly. It makes sense her talking about and discussing how can we bring value. It's too expensive. The numbers don't make sense. It doesn't pencil out for a lot of people. And she really, her whole, all this talk that's coming out of her, from her in Xbox is, really catering to the fan base that they have currently. And if you can cater to them, then you can grow the fan base to a much larger number. And this is pretty much what they did from the original Xbox to the Xbox 360. They doubled down on what worked and really drove the nail in the ground. And that's how they fucking flipped the generation that was the 360 and the PS3. So this makes sense. She needs to brainstorm. She needs to understand. She needs to get a better understanding of what is actually working. How can they improve, and how can they rebuild their reputation in the image of Xbox going into this next generation? So this makes sense. Now, how realistic is the thought of them lowering the price? I don't know about that. Now, we did cover last week that they're coding in Game Pass for a more affordable tier, but that would be 3-4 tiers. I think that's too convoluted, so I don't know. Listen, it sounds good. Like, everything just sounds good, but we gotta wait until we see the outcome, because nothing could come from this at the end of the day, as far as the whole Game Pass price. Now let me go to the exclusive, because the beginning of the day for Twitter, it went from her saying, hey, we're discussing exclusives, let's talk about what exclusives we could do with it. And then by, I would say, like lunchtime, there was people posting on Twitter say it's confirmed that Xbox is bringing back exclusive. And I'm like, I don't think that's what she really meant. I think, people really went away with that, because like I said, everything that's coming out of Xbox right now is really getting the people going, and the Xbox fanboys are just going rampant. But at the end of the day, people, all this talk, we need to watch what actually comes of this. I don't think they're going to lower Game Pass. Honestly, they might add value to it somehow, which I don't even know how they could do. I don't think we should expect a decretion in price, because that's just not how business works. Once a fan base or a customer base get accustomed to a price, it's very, I don't think it ever happens. Like, you might get a sale here and there, but they're not going to lower the price, because you're already accustomed to it at that price. Why should we? That's why I said that the the PlayStation Pro being at $900 is never going to come back down. Like, if anything, bitch could go up again. So, that's my thinking, looking at business, looking at track records. But this is a very important topic to Xbox fans, like, because people have went and canceled their subscriptions when they went to $30 a month. So, but at the end of the day, we just gotta temper our excitement. Don't let Twitter hype you up too much. Like, let's just still wait. And Infamous, what do you think? Do you think they will lower the price of Game Pass realistically?
So speaking realistically, I like how you added that there. They will try to save face and they will re-ratify it.
Yeah,
They won't say, "Oh, we're lowering the price." They will probably change up the tiers. And the best thing, in my opinion, and I've seen others kind of mention it a bit every now and then, is there should be a Xbox Studio only.
yeah, like the
Yeah,
rumored.
just the first party shit. That should be a tier. You can have an indie tier. That's something separate. Like, hey, you just want the indie games, the little here and now things. That could be one. And then you could do the ultimate where, like, hey, you can have your EA and your Ubisoft Plus Classic and all that, and you can go from there. Now, yes, it will be very convoluted. Keep adding more tiers. Keep confusing the player base and whatnot. Yes, that is the worst thing that they could do. But realistically, I agree with you. No, they won't. They won't. Why? Well, because you want to. No, and of course, Microsoft just not want to take that L. Like, oh, we were wrong. Lowering price down,
Mhm.
that will probably bring down share price because they're like, oh, we don't. You didn't feel confident. We don't feel confident in you now. So yeah, I don't see that happening. But at the same time, they can do things. They can reword things that sounds really, really nice, and you'll think, oh, okay, they're thinking of the people. They're not thinking show the people. This new CEO, she knows she has stepped into a shit show situation. So hey, she's gonna try to do her best to clean up all her predecessors' mistakes and do the best she can. And the truth of the
Mhm.
matter is, Game Pass is too expensive. It is too expensive. $30 a month, that's absurd. For people who play 1 or 2 games a year, you can just two games a year at $70, $140. You don't need to pay that for a whole year. That's one aspect. And then as far as the exclusive things, that just sounds like fanboys talking at their ass. I mean, you
Yeah,
said you were
yeah.
talking about you said you was getting on this from Twitter.
Yeah, it
Twitter,
escalated
yeah,
really quickly on
yeah.
Twitter. I was
Twitter
like,
is
"What are
a
we doing? Hold on." I was
Yeah,
like,
Twitter
"Y'all,
is a
y'all wildin'."
wild west of crazy shit happening, being said, all of that. So I don't know where anyone comes off like, yeah, they're going back to exclusives. In what world do you believe that?
And that would take
And
so much time realistically for us to see the
it would take
benefits.
so much time realistically, but I'm going to put this in perspective so we can move this along.
Mhm.
Microsoft slash Xbox bought Bethesda for $7.5 billion to keep Starfield off of PlayStation.
You should have just let them
They
have it.
just gave that game to PlayStation. So if they were truly gung ho on exclusives, then why? Why give that game away? Even if they were just still just, oh, we're just thinking,
E
just
Even
one
Fable
game.
is coming to PlayStation.
Even Fable, and Fable is not being done as a Horizon. Horizon is coming later. It's going to be staggered. It's going to be timed.
Mhm.
They're doing Fable day and date. Let the exclusive thing go.
Yeah.
They have moved on.
Yeah.
That's what I got. I don't see them lowering prices. They're gonna save face. They're gonna try to ratify. They're gonna use some slick corporate words. They're gonna make sure they seem like, yeah, we care about you. They don't care about you. Keep saying this. They cared about you. They wouldn't have rose the price like that. Even at $20, $20 was still a thing. People were tolerating it and put up with it. But even that was absurd. $20 a month in a world where you have so much competition. You have so many competitors trying to get your money, but not even that, your time, the most valuable currency of everything, time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Mm-mm.
see it. But hey,
Hey.
Asha Sharma, as we reported last time, she's saying a lot of slick shit. She's saying a lot of things that really sound good and nice. Let's see if it pays off. Let's see if
Yeah.
she actually can pull something
Yo,
off.
yo, in the words of my cousin from last week, "Hey, show me that shit, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Show me that." I was like, "Whoa." But yes, yeah, yeah. She gonna have to show me because I'm telling you, I swear to God, Xbox not getting a dollar out of me. They're gonna have to prove they deserve my money because as of right now, Xbox, I ain't got nothing for you, baby. So yeah, they're gonna really have to show me, and hopefully that means they have to show you too, because we've been watching the same company for multiple generations now, not go in the right direction, not give a damn about their fans. But hopefully the new CEO actually makes actions behind her words. But definitely let us know. Let's start the conversation down in the comments. What do you think about this? What do you think about all the news that came out this week about Xbox and her statement to her employees about it being too expensive, possibly bringing exclusives back? Let us know what you think and how you feel in the comments down. Sony might be about to change the entire console game, and this leak is wild, people. We're hearing the PS6 won't just be one system, but three: a main system, a cheaper version system, and even an handheld. And if that wasn't enough, it could also support full backwards compatibility with PS4 and PS5 games. So now the question is, what is the PS6 even supposed to be? Because this starts to look less like a console and more like an entire ecosystem. Is Sony copying Xbox strategy? Are they about to take it even further? And if this is real, the console world might never be the same again. So what's actually in this leak, and should fans be excited or worried? All right, so let's talk about exactly what, once again, Twitterland was saying, and a lot of stuff in the news outlets and the major gaming content people were talking about. So they're saying that next PS6 generation, there's going to be, the headliner, the one with all the bells and whistles, and a budget friendlier console. Pretty much like how Xbox Series S was a thing Xbox Series X was a thing in the Xbox Series S. Now we all know, let me just say, at the end of the day, the hardcore is never going to buy, more than likely they're never going to buy the budget, because at the end of the day, when you really do the math, you look at the capabilities, you might as well just spend that extra $200 and just get the main one. The budget console is definitely for the more casual customer base. Let's just call a bean a bean. Now the handheld, we've been known about the handheld, about Sony getting in the handheld for next generation. That's been known. That's been well documented. That's nothing new. Now, do we know it was supposed to be? I don't know if they're gonna launch it at the same day, because I would have thought I would think they would like space it out a little bit, because I don't remember the PS Vita coming out when the PlayStation was launched. Like, I don't think that was ever a thing that they did, from my memory. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been a long time, honestly. So but I want to talk about how Xbox Series X and S was kind of cemented. The customer base. Hey, from our friend that he said in the group chat when I brought this to the attention, he said, "Hey, yeah, we might not like it as hardcore gamers and might not think highly of it, but apparently the Xbox Series S sold very well." I mean, I never looked at the numbers or cared to look at it, because I never care about that product. But apparently, he said it sold very well, so it makes sense, as we reported on here on the channel and even everywhere else. The next generation PS6 could be $1,000. So if they bring out a more budget one, I mean, what are we thinking? Like $750? Even if the PS6 launched at $8, that would probably be $6. The budget one would be $6. So, it makes sense. PlayStation 5 didn't do that. They just had a disc version and a digital version. But they both had the same capabilities. But at the end of the day, for the casual fan, this makes sense. This is just good business. No, but we already knew about the handheld. So this budget console is really what's taking and having people's timelines in a chokehold right now. But at the end of the day, it makes sense. But this is not a product for me. I said I wasn't buying the PS6, but if I was, I would probably not buy the budget version, just because the longevity of the console don't really meet my standards. But I will say that people have made articles stating that developers have hated the Xbox Series S, just from a developmental side. So I wonder, how will Sony tackle that issue, because Xbox apparently did not handle that well, because developers have came out and said they hate making games for it. So I wonder how Sony would handle that aspect of the business. It could be a moneymaker, but if people have or struggle to develop games on it, and you make them keep the standard across both consoles, it can come convoluted and difficult and end up costing you more money in the end anyway. Like, so Infamous, what do you think about this budget PlayStation 6 quote unquote coming or being a whole thing? I mean, we already knew about the handheld, so that's nothing new, but the budget console, and do you think that Sony will handle the development and game development for the budget console better than what Xbox did with the Series S and X?
So my idea for it is, I think it's dumb. I think it's a dumb idea, but
Whoa.
I think it's a dumb idea, and I'm prepared for this. If Miss comes with the facts, comes with the report. So what you're saying is highly true. Developers have stated ad nauseum the dismay they have for the Series S. It bottlenecks and holds them back. But because Microsoft was like, hey, you got to have parity. If it works on the X, it's got to work on the S. The reason I can see Sony doing this is to have some type, let's say, parity streamline across the board for the main PS6, the lower spec, and then the handheld. If everything is going to work across the board, and let's just say, for devil's advocate, someone is like, hey, I want to buy the handheld. I don't want to buy, the main console or etc. Whatever game that comes out has to, and if you have a budget one, okay, well, they're like, hey, it can help keep things in line. It helps minimize the power gap between the two. So if the handheld is at a 5 and the main system is at a 10, it's like, oh, okay, ooh, that's a lot. All right, well, now you have the budget that's probably meeting them at a 7. That's why we talked about how the latest updates that's coming with the smart delivery, how now they have a SKU specifically just for, hey, you can that low power mode in turn is what people have been talking about, is for the handheld. It is so that it will not take up so much juice in the gameplay and not run the battery up so much. And when you think about it, that makes a lot of sense. Me being a hardcore gamer, I don't give two shits or want to hear something about a budget console. I have the Series X. I paid the money for the bigger, more expensive thing because I don't want issues or shit lagging or having to struggle. I don't want to deal with all that. That ain't how I play. But some people, and that news is true, I have heard ad nauseum from interviews, Twitter people, industry insiders, that the bulk of Xboxes this generation sold were the Series S version, not the X. A lot of people got in on Microsoft's promise of, hey, you want to play next gen console games? You ain't gotta spend $500. I think when they originally came out, it was $300 MSRP. A lot of people bought into that. So, they thought like, oh, this will do great numbers for us. We can beat Sony at their game. It didn't really work out like that, in a sense. But I'm not for this budget system because it makes me feel like, okay, certain things are going to get held back. But at the same time, I could be wrong. Sony could be like, hey, we got this. We got this. It could have some type of secret engineering that they have with, I think it's AMD. Yeah, AMD is the one who makes their systems since PS4 and going forward. So that's how they'll do the backwards compatibility. But hey, they got some of their sleeves and we wouldn't even know it. But I'm not for a budget console.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
It's more for like the single mom, the single parent with a kid that's begging for the next gen. It's more for people like custom base like them. I will give Sony this because our friend in our group chat really emphasized this, that with the development of PSSR, Sony is really spending money on their software infrastructure. So maybe they could handle, multiple ranges of systems and really, because they're really focusing on the software and utilization better. So maybe they will handle it better than what Xbox did with the Series X and S.
True.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, me and my cousin will never buy a budget console. I'm not talking down. I'm not trying to sound scummy but just from the history of the budget version of consoles, it just hasn't been a good history about how they perform and how they don't stand the test of time. Like at the end of the day, you should just spent the extra $150, whatever it was, because it will last longer. And just what I've seen in my history of buying console. The budget version just doesn't stand up to the test of time. But you know, I'm not
But
saying
that
you can't enjoy them though.
But that's not necessarily a console or gaming thing. That's technology all around. You buy the deluxe model of something, the
Yeah.
EX version or whatnot. It's made like that because they put extra oomph into it. You'll get better performance, just like in vehicles, the GT or the GSR, whatever they may do.
The
That's how it is.
SRT. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you made me think of this right now with bringing up the PSSR 2.0. There were talks that they are working on the PSR 3.0
The fuck?
specifically just for Mark Cerny is working on a newer version of that tech specifically for the handheld and PS6s. So they're probably like, hey, what they'll lack in the hardware part of it, hey, we'll make up with our software. We'll still make it crisp, sexy, and clean across the board. And then not even that, Sony could know something that we don't know. And they're like, yo, we're making this budget console because the
Yeah,
economy is turning to shit. It's gonna
yeah,
get worse.
yeah. True. That.
So an eight hundred
Hey.
dollar an eight hundred
Yeah.
dollar PS6, you ain't gonna buy. But hey, we may get you to buy that budget for 400, 500. Budget will sound nice if the price is what consoles used to be, you know. So hey, they could run it like that. Who's
Yeah,
knows?
yeah, and I remember, you know, when we talked about this generation and how it was wasted, you did make a comment saying, "Hey, the optimization has been completely shit this generation." So
Shit.
maybe Sony is honing in on optimization as they push into the next generation because they just know, hey, money's about to be real tight. It already is tight, and so they really honing in. You know, the RAM apocalypse that we're running through. So yeah, yeah. Actually, at the end of the day, this all really makes sense. But hey, listen, let us know what you think. Would you be a person interested in the more budget friendly console? Would you be more interested in the handheld instead of buying the main console? You know, I think they're really trying to build a console for any
Ecosystem.
range of customer base. Yeah, and it makes sense. It's good business. I'm not gonna fault them for it. I just know at the end of the day, certain things are just not for me, and I'll never be interested in it. Just like my cousin, we stated throughout this video, certain stuff just ain't for us, but it could be for you. And we're not talking down on anybody that wants to do that. You know, handheld, budget, full price, whatever type of gamer you are, you're a fucking gamer and you belong here. And let us know what you think in the comments down below. All right, and that is a wrap for episode 29 of Are You Not Entertained? We covered, you know, the latest rumors in the PS6. We looked at the Metro 2039 trailer and gave our expectations. We covered the Game Pass news. You know, Xbox stay being in our topics. And of course, the Starfield debacle that was the PS5 launch. But, you know, a lot of stuff in gaming happened this week. It was a lot, so much different range of things, but you know, you already know how this works. Let us know what you think and how you feel about any of the topics that we covered here today. Like I said, we'll be here at the same place, same time next week. Peace.
Game on. And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, Are You Not Entertained?